What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. First off, Merry Christmas to everybody who's celebrating it. But we're going to talk about the big 7 games ahead of us. And they are massive. They're big games. They're tough games. However, there are no excuses because this month is going to completely make or break our season. Make in terms of we have actually something to play for, or break in terms of we are in massive trouble because of the games that we have ahead of us. It's a key moment for us. It's a key moment for Thiago Motta, key moment for Giuntoli, because he's going to need to help Thiago Motta due to the many injuries and issues with the squad. He's going to need to find a solution to help Motta, and he's going to need to find it very quick. Not at the end of January, but now. But before we do that, as always, hit the like button. Do that. Subscribe to the channel as well. Bell notification, put that on because it's transfer news season almost in a couple of days. It actually opens up, so a lot of updates coming our way because we know we're gonna need to do something, and Giuntoli said we are gonna do something. But let's first talk about the 7-game stretch we are heading into, starting on Sunday against Fiorentina. First off, so let's talk about that. Okay, so the 7 games stretch. I did not include the Supercoppa semi-final against Milan because that's whatever, with all the injuries and how our season is developing, the Supercoppa is actually pointless, and it's actually worrying that it's sandwiched in between, with all the injuries we already have and the squad issues we have, that, playing that as well away from Italy as well, traveling for that is ridiculous. So I left that out because that's not important for our season right now. But we start off obviously this weekend. We wrap up the season against Fiorentina, who come off a loss against Udinese, who have a very brilliant start to the season. Fiorentina, I'm not gonna back down from what I've said a couple of weeks ago, where I'm like, I think we're gonna beat Fiorentina. I think we will show up for those type of games. So I think we will win against Fiorentina. That's not based on recent performances at all. That's purely based on a feeling I've had for a couple of weeks now, and I think from a good 3 weeks I've been saying it on this channel that, because that's the next big game, we had, and I was like, we're gonna beat Fiorentina because that's the feeling I have basically. So it's not an easy game, by the way. It's a tough game. We have a better squad than Fiorentina. We're not showing it. That's a fact. However, we should be beating Fiorentina at home. Like, if you look at the stretch of games, we play a lot of away games as well. You need you need positive results. Like, these are like the stretch of games we're on right now. Look at on the right hand side, on the left hand side. They're not easy. They're not easy, and everybody knows that for different reasons. Fiorentina are having a good start to the season. Torino doing worse than I thought they would, to be honest. However, it's a derby. It's tough. It's contested. It's not easy. Recently, it's not been pretty. They're very close, very tense games. Not a lot of chances. Very ugly games as well lately. So no matter where Torino is, recently, and with recently I mean the last couple of seasons, they're not easy games, especially away from home. They are tough games. They are games Torino will get up for. Even if they don't win them often, they will be up for the derby. That's how it should. I've said it many times. It's easier to prepare for a big game than a smaller game, and we've proven that. This season, many times on many occasions. However, for Torino, it's kind of a fact. For them, it's the biggest game of the season. They will be up for it. So that's a second game. And that's the first game in the new year besides the Supercoppa. Then you go away to Atalanta. That is the biggest test of the season because Atalanta are on smoke. Atalanta are the complete opposite of us. They are a well-oiled machine. They score a lot of goals. They play very good football. They put insane pressure on you. They can keep the ball well. They defend pretty good. I think everybody, like, if you associate the way Atalanta play and the results they get, the goals they score, you would assume that defensively they're not fantastic. Actually, they can be if they want to, So it's the biggest test because you're gonna go to at this moment in time the team sitting first in the standings. You're gonna go to a team that is doing well in Europe, that's well respected, that kind of strikes fear in opponents. It is what it is. That's the reality right now. Who are on a crazy roll, have all confidence in the world. The players are clicking, the players are informed. And if you look at the squad, you're like, really? I don't want, maybe 3-4 players out of that first 11. You're looking at that. I don't want those type of players, but still, that is a team because they play for each other. Everybody knows what they need to do. And like the movement, it's just brilliant, and that's with players that cost not 50 or 60 million. That's built on scouting, well work, well prep, so on, so on. So that is massive. That is massive. That is probably the toughest away game we're gonna have all season. Tougher than Inter, because when we played Inter at the time, they were not the Inter they are right now. They were in Inter who were still struggling. That Atalanta side is on smoke, and you're gonna go there and they're gonna come with the smoke and you're gonna need to hold it. That's a game that will tell you how far off we are from a team like Atalanta at this moment in time. It sounds crazy to say, but that's the reality. That's that. Then you go back at home against Milan, and we also need to be honest, tough game because it's Juve and Milan, but they're not that good. We're not fantastic, but they're not that good. I expect us to beat Milan at home. That's the bare minimum as an expectation. I expect us to play Milan at home and win that game. That's just a demand. I demand us to beat Milan at home. We must beat Milan at home. If you we cannot beat the little teams consistently, and we haven't done that against the big teams as well this season consistently. We didn't beat Roma, you didn't beat Inter, you didn't beat Milan, didn't beat Napoli. We have an issue right there as well. You need to start beating these bigger teams, and right now in this month, that the month is coming up, you have an opportunity to do that. Milan at home is a game you should be winning. Then you go away to Bruges, and Bruges have picked up form massively in the Belgian league. They score goals a lot. They can play dominate, and you're gonna go away from home on a pitch that is extremely small. In context wise, it's very contested type of pitch. It's suffocating, and defensively you should be okay, I guess, but creating chances, if they sat back, which they're not going to do, by the way, they're not going to sit back because they have nothing to lose, basically. They will make a tough game out of that. You should be making it out of the group, with the win over Man City. You should be making it into the next round, but still, that is a tough game, a tough game for us right now in our form. And then you go away from Napoli. Look at that. It's Fiorentina, Torino, Atalanta, Milan, Champions League midweek, Napoli on the weekend, and then Champions League again midweek. Napoli away is tough because our recent games against Napoli have been horrid. We cannot win, and actually we're not even close to winning games away to Napoli recently. We look awful away to Napoli. Napoli are not the most flashy team, but they're very efficient. They get the job done. That's it, and nobody's complaining about that on Napoli's side because they're in the title race. They're just getting the job done. Maybe going underneath the radar because they don't play the fancy football, but it's very effective. That's what Conte does. They will be up for it. We better be up for that type of game. Otherwise, you're going to go home from Napoli with 2-3-0 as an L. If you're not ready for those type of games, we need to get up for it. We need to get up for these games consistently. And then you top it off with Benfica, which might be completely pointless and might be something because for some reason you can still sneak into the top 8, or it's just about positioning and nobody really knows how that works and everybody plays at the same time, so you cannot really do any calculations, so that game might be completely pointless. Who knows? But the league games are massive. Fiorentina at home, you need to end the season with a very good feeling. You need to do that. And then you need to start off the new year, season, year, and start the new year with a very good feeling. That is very important. You cannot go into the new season away to the Supercoppa with just whatever. I don't think anyone will be up for that as well. And then think about, man, we need to start off the season well because we ended it extremely poorly. And if you manage to not beat Torino, which is possible because it's a derby, recently we've won games, but if we didn't win certain games, everybody will be like, yeah, it wasn't that, obvious that we should be winning that game. You go away to Atalanta. So for us, for Motta, it's very important to end the year on a positive note and start the year on a positive note. And Giuntoli comes into play with that because with all the injuries we have and difficulties, he's going to need to bring in certain players as soon as possible to just light up the mood, and just give a sense of, okay, we're here to help, and here is your help. Now you have it. Try to use it as soon as possible because more injuries are going to happen. They're just going to happen. But this 7-game stretch is just... It's just massive. Look at this. Look at the player, at the teams. It's just... It's crazy. It really is crazy. It's tough. It's very tough games. It's a key month. Like I said at the start of the season, in terms of we can actually do something this season, or break off, we are in massive trouble just for top 4 at this stage. So let me know in the comments what do you think. What do you think about the 7-game stretch? How many points will we pick up? What do you expect, performance wise? And yeah, we will talk again later tomorrow with another daily news show and probably live show as well. So stay tuned for that. Ciao.